Hello, good afternoon, guys. Welcome to MK Community Brokerage. My name is Mohammed. In this video, I'm going to help you explain the study guide for Educating All Student Exam. Now, for those of you that are not familiar with the Educating All Student Exam, it's basically a new exam procedure for people that are planning to become New York State certified teachers for the Board of Education. Now, this is one of the requirements. This test is a must. It's basically testing teachers' skills such as responsibility as a teacher, how to deal with special needs students, certain circumstances that give you like ESL students need help, what should a teacher do, and such and such. I'm gonna go over the whole sample questions for the Educating All Student test, and this is basically from the New York State. It's like a sample, like they give you a sample to give you the taste of what the questions might be during the real test when you guys take. It's not an easy test. I'm gonna let you know it is a difficult test. I highly recommend people studying before you go, taking a lot of classes, because this test will question your abilities. So let me clarify in one part. This is a multiple choice slash essay exam. The multiple choice itself is 70%. So which means that you do good on the multiple choice exam, 70% you will pass the exam. Even though you don't pass any of the essays, you will still pass the exam. The problem is a lot of times people when they take this exam, they will spend more time on the essays, which essay is not even worth a fraction if you think about the multiple choice. Multiple choice are the bulk of the exam. Keep in mind, when you take this exam, concentrate on the multiple choice question and do the essay as a rough draft. Don't worry about mistakes. Make sure you do it, but don't spend too much time on it. Just give yourself like at least 10 minutes on each essay. Like, do a rough draft. Now, if you do have time after that, just go back to the essays and then fix whatever the mistakes you have done. It's not that bad. So keep this in mind. So with all ado, one more thing. I'm not gonna go over every single questions. I'm just gonna go over certain scenarios, certain situations. So this way, I can help you out with giving you guys a little bit leisure. If you guys want to stop the video, read it on your own. If you want to visit the website as well, they do also offer a practice exam as well for those of you that don't know about it. It's about $20. It's a practice exam to give you obviously different questions, not from pretending from here. It's that kind of like pacing yourself for the real exam. It's very good to take. It's very good to know. It's because if you take practice exam, it'll help you out, especially in the future exams. There's usually 135 minutes. This is the time they usually give you when you guys take the real test. 135 minutes sounds a lot, but it's not really. By the time you start taking the exam, reading the questions, it's a lot of information. So keep this in mind. Pace yourself. Don't get stuck on one question. The question you don't know, flag the question on the obviously computer and come back to it after you're done. To be honest with you, this is all the best advice that anyone could give you. Because a lot of times people read the question, they get stuck on it. Now they're thinking, you know what, they're not gonna pass, they're not gonna do it. Don't spend too much time on one question. Keep it going. Flag the question down if you think that question is right. Usually the first answer is the right answer. First choice is the right choice. But if you feel like that's not the choice, do process of elimination. I remember when people took the not this exam, pertaining to another exam, and what happened was I explained to people that these are the questions you need to get hit right. You need to know these are the questions you need to know that's 100% right. Once you know these questions are right, concentrate on the question you're not sure which is not right. So if you do those, then you'll end up passing. So keep that in mind. So this is how it's going to be. So they're gonna give you a scenario such as this one. As you read this scenario, class description, you read through it, then you can see Exhibit 2. Obviously, this is going to be excerpts. So basically, these are called teacher's notes. A lot of teachers might have a journal in a real classroom. They might write notes about certain students. Let's say if the student has a behavior problem, student has a language problem, student has problems with anything at all, IEP, whatever it is. Some teachers might keep a journal, such as this journal, Miss Finnegan's journal. She'll write down many students in class want to associate primarily with peers from the same cultural background. I've engaged students in activities to help them get acquainted, but some of them are reluctant to interact with peers from a different background. It also appears that a few students hold negative views about individuals from different cultural groups. There are times when I sense underlying tension in the classroom. Now, by reading some passages you guys could read, you're automatically gonna know what the essay is gonna be about. So by just reading that question, I know they're gonna ask essays about cultural diversity. It's like common question 101, because people gonna the people that make the test purposely put some things in it. Like if you're reading a passage about students having second language problem, you're pretty sure the essay is gonna be about languages, like for ESL questions. So obviously this question is mostly about this essay, and this question is mostly about cultural diversity. There's a chance the essay might be about cultural diversity. So this is how it's going to be. You're gonna read a class description excerpt from there on the computer screen. Then you're gonna have an exhibit 2. You're gonna have excerpts from the teacher's journal, and then you're gonna have exhibit 3, except for Miss Finnegan's draft lesson plan. So this is what's called, for those people that don't know, this is what a lesson plan. Every teacher in a classroom, especially in the Board of Education classroom, will have a lesson plan, such as this one. So basically, the standards where they're using the information from. So as you can see, this standard is from distinguish between facts and opinion and reasoned judgment in a text from the New York State Common Core language standards. This is subjective. What will the students learn? This is stating students will write original statements of fact and original statements of opinion. So grouping, this is basically what the students were going to do. Materials, what the teacher brought to the classroom, and this is basically the lesson component, the activity, the introduction, small group activity 1, small group activity 2. Once you read these 3 excerpts, obviously they're going to ask you the question, such as this one. The pattern of interacting in Miss Finnegan's class suggests that students would benefit the most from which of the following instructional approaches: implementing frequent independent study projects and self-paced learning activities, providing a highly structured learning environment that features strict rules and red consequences, designing a system of concrete rewards for class-wide achievement of learning objectives, and adopting heterogeneous grouping practices that promote shared goals and mutual learning support. Well, to be honest with you, without reading the excerpt, I know the answer is going to be D. As you can see, they want to create heterogeneous grouping practices that promote shared goals. As you see from the excerpt, if you guys would have read, it shows that students have a friction between them with cultural diversity. So these are some of the trick questions. Even though all the other answers look very, very appealing, they would just want to know which one is the best answers. That's what they want to know. Which is these 4 answers, which one of them is the best one? So basically that's what they're trying to say. Again, with question 2, which of the following statement describes the most likely explanation for students' lack of engagement with the main idea on September 7. So again, this question is based on this excerpt on September 7. Obviously, you read it, what could it be? Then you go back to the excerpt and you look at the answers. Let's see what the answer might be. The use of 2 passages make the activity too long to hold student attention. The student prefer reading literary passages to reading informational passages. The teacher did not incorporate students' prior knowledge and provide other appropriate scaffolding. The topic of the passage were too similar and provided little variety of stimuli students making. So if you read the passage, the answer might be C. And as you can see, activation, prior knowledge is research-based strategy. It's all about learning. When you read the passage, make sure you read the passage very, very carefully. I have a suggestion. If you guys want to read the questions first, like read question 1 first, then read the passage, and then you'll have an idea what the question's asking for. People love doing that. Some people just love reading the passages first. Once they read the passages, then they go back to the question, and then answer the question, then read back the passage. Whatever works for you, do it. But keep this in mind. If you're going to be doing it, don't spend too much time reading the passages, because the passages are meant for killing your time. They ask a lot of information, and some of the time the information is not even, the answer is not even coming from the passages. Keep this in mind very carefully. So as you can see, the question again, question 3: which of the following tasks will be most appropriate and effective methods for informally assessing students' learning in Miss Finnegan's lesson on distinguishing between fact and opinion? A is going to be student groups evaluate their performance on their small group activities on facts and opinion. B. Individual students use different colors to highlight facts and opinion passage on familiar topic. C. Pairs of students test each other's knowledge in facts and opinion using textbook passages. D. The teacher observes students' group as they perform the small group activities in facts and opinion. Now, which one will it be? If you click the answer over here, the answer will be B. Now, as you see, This is just a sample passage, but it's good to read before you take the test. At least you'll have an idea what the question's going to be about. And this is how the questions will be asked during the real exam. Again, once you do that part, and again, look, after analyzing, this part is going to be for the short essay. After analyzing the information provided, write a response of approximately 150 to 200 words. Now, identify one issue related to student diversity. Remember how I was talking about student diversity? They might ask a question. Well, guess what? This is the passage it's going to be. Describe one strategy Ms. Finnegan could use to address the issue you identified, and explain why the strategy you described will be effective and facilitate student learning. So this is just a sample response. I'll read it out to you guys. One issue related to diversity that Ms. Finnegan should address is planning the lesson on facts and opinion in that students, depending on their backgrounds or gender, may or may not be familiar with the topic professional basketball. Students with little or no background knowledge of basketball will be at a disadvantage when it comes to determining whether the statement is a fact or an opinion. Ms. Finnegan could address this issue by allowing students to choose from texts written on several different topics that are more familiar to all students. She could then form groups according to the text students chose. This strategy would be effective in facilitating student learning because students would have the necessary background knowledge of their topics. They would not have to expend mental energy trying to comprehend text about an unfamiliar topic, and could focus their attention on the primary objective of distinguishing between facts and opinion. This strategy will also encourage students to work with different peers and help them get to know other students who share their interests. So as you can see, it's perfect. The way they described, they went to the all bullet points as over here. Make sure you answer all these 3 questions. These are important. They purposely put it over there so that you have to answer them. Keep this in mind. Not answering them meaning that you don't go over that point. Again, same thing. Competency, English language learners. They let you know, but in the real exam, they're not gonna let you know. This topic is gonna be about English language learners. You read through the whole class description. Again, they're gonna have 3 exhibits. That was one. This is gonna be the second one, as you can see, part over here, and this is the third one right over here. Exhibit. This is obviously going to be the third or second exhibit might be about the lesson plan. So this is again the lesson plan. Again, in planning instruction for Valera, once you read these 2 questions, they will obviously let you know what the answer is going to be. Keep this in mind. These are very, very important. It's good to know what the question is going to be asking and everything. So for example, question 9, which of the following factors related to language acquisition is most likely contributing to Valera's below average content area literacy skill? So this is going to be about students. There might be about 2 or 3 students in ESL questions that they might want to know. These students are having problems. What can you do to help these students? What can the teacher do in the passage to help students? So obviously this question is about Valera's below average student area literacy skill. She's reluctant to take risk in English language. Then they will let you know in the passages obviously what she's having issues, what not she's having issues, and whichever answer you choose. Obviously this answer is going to be B. She has limited literacy in and use of her home language, and you could see from the passages if this is the answer or not. Like I said again, the questions are meant for you to choose the best answer. All of them might look good, but which one is the best one out of all 4 of them? Again, this is going to be about ESL essay. You're going to write down the essay for ESL convention of helping the child out. What can you do to address that issue? What can you do to help that child out? And as you can see, this is a sample response from them, which is a high grade mark. Again, this is going to be student with disabilities and other special learning skills. So there's going to be 3-part: diversity, ESL student, and student with disabilities and other special learning needs. As you can see, this passage is going to be about student. Now the thing is that on the real exam, they're not going to tell you. They're not going to tell you this passage is going to be about diversity. They're not going to tell you this passage is going to be about ESL. They're not going to tell you this passage is going to be about students with disabilities. They're just going to put the questions down, and you're going to start answering the questions. Keep that in mind. It's up to you to determine if this passage is about diversity, if this passage is about ESL students. And you know what? If you read through the questions, it'll read through the passages. You should know if this passage is talking about diversity. When we read the first passage, they talked about diversity. The questions were talking about diversity. The common sense of passage is going to be about diversity. If you're reading through the second excerpt that we just ran through with Valera's case, you could look through it and you could tell this passage was going to be about ESL student. So keep that in mind. Some of these passages might be about whatever the case is. So please, guys, read through the questions, and it will really help. Again, this is an excerpt for the student with disabilities. You read through these passages. This is an excerpt from 2, informal classroom observation for Lily's Miss Forest's. Again, another excerpt. Excerpt 3 again with a lesson plan. And once you do that, you start answering these questions. Obviously, you read through the question, and again, there's going to be a final essay. And once you read through that, and obviously these are the 3 heavy parts. Then there's going to be about teacher responsibilities. There are going to be some questions about teacher responsibilities. There's not going to be no passages on it. It's just going to be a regular question. I'll read through some of them with you. For example, question 16: the parents of a middle school student believe that their child's education record contains an inaccurate report of the child's involvement in an incident where a small group of students behaved inappropriately during a school field trip. The school denied the parents' initial request to amend the report, and a formal hearing upheld the school's decision. At this point, the parents have the legal right to, which one the answer is, present objection to the school's report of the incidents to a court-appointed mediator, place a statement on the child's record stating their disagreement with the school's report, examine the record of the other students that were involved in the incident, have the child's current record sealed, and a new set of records created. Now you read through this, a small passage like this, you see which one the answer is. Now obviously, if you read through the questions carefully, the answer should be B. Place a statement in the child's record stating their disagreement with the school's report, and obviously this will be the right answer. There's going to be questions about school-home relationships, and obviously these are one of the heavy parts. There's obviously other parts as well, but they're going to have questions about multiple questions about these, multiple questions about teacher responsibilities. These are also multiple choice questions. There's no passage on these, but keep this in mind. These are also very bulk. They give you these questions in the end of the once you finish those 3 main parts, all the other smaller questions, like 10 questions, are going to be from these in the end. A lot of times people do get drained in the end. People are like, you know what, I just read so many passages, and believe me, it's a lot of passages to read. Very few people get a high score on these exams. Either people get a passing score or people don't pass, unfortunately. This is a very hard exam to pass. It's not easy. It's meant to question your cognitive thinking skill. So keep that in mind. Take a deep breath when you take this exam. If you don't understand the question, like I said again, flag the question, come back to it afterwards if you have time. That's it. That's the best thing you can do. Don't spend too much time on essay. It's worth 10%. Try to spend your time on the multiple choice exam. Again, if you're reading through all these excerpts and you don't know what the heck they're talking about, just concentrate on the multiple choice question, such as this. Another student in the class, Athena, has fine motor delays. Miss Ford could best support Athena's full participation in the lesson by. Now you know the question is asking about Athena's fine motor delays. Althea, sorry, that's the name of the student. Fine motor delays. So look into the passage and which one it states fine motor delays. Now you have the ability on the real exam to highlight certain things on the computer. So there will be a highlight remark on it. So you can highlight certain things if you guys don't, if you read through certain things and you think this is important, highlight it. It doesn't hurt to highlight certain things. So keep this in mind. With that being said, hopefully I didn't read through every part of the question. I should have, but I just wanted to concentrate on how to basically take the test, what type of situations will arise. I just wanted to go over like certain part of that as well. Unfortunately, I didn't have enough time to read through all the questions, which will make this video very lengthy, and I didn't want that to happen. I just wanted to keep it short and simple. So basically, keep it in mind. Again, this is a 135-minute exam. There's going to be multiple choice questions in this exam. Keep this in mind. Make sure you read the passages carefully and answer the multiple choice questions carefully. Look at the questions, see what the question's asking for. Then obviously, like I told you, 2 strategies. Either read through the question, then go over the passages, or just go over the passages and then read through the questions and see what the answer might be. Again, when you take the exam, it's going to be shuffled up. Questions will be shuffled up all together. You might get student diversity questions first, then you might get ESL first, then you might student with disabilities second or third. Whatever it is, they will shuffle it up. Make sure you read the exam carefully. Make sure you understand what they're talking about, because it is not an easy exam. It is a hard exam. So keep this in mind, and it's going to be expensive. You're paying good amount, at least like put it like $100 at least. Put it like more or less. So keep in mind, you don't want to study. You want to make sure you study hard. You want to make sure you practice. Just go in a study group. If you're still in college, obviously create a study group or something and tackle this exam before you graduate. You don't want this to have it on your head before you're graduating that you didn't pass the educating all student exam, and now guess what? You don't have the certification. You really can't officially teach in a New York State school or slash charter school. Charter schools have their own rules and regulation. They have a certain percentage of teachers that they're supposed to hire without certification. But I've noticed at this part, charter schools also like to have you have a certification. Most of the time, they will not hire you. They'll hire you as a substitute teacher, which will also. But Board of Education does the same thing. Keep that in mind. But having a certification and becoming a regular, teacher makes a big difference. With that being said, that's about it. Thank you again, guys, for watching this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you guys have any other questions, comment, concern, please comment, like, subscribe. I'll try my best on my part to help you out as much as possible, as best as I can. I will leave some links in the bottom of the video, so hopefully you guys, if you guys like to start study, if you guys like to purchase some study guides, books, and everything, I'll put it over in the link, and obviously you could check them out. If you like it, obviously you can purchase from them, and they can help you out practice exam. Thank you again, guys, for watching this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thank you.